Good evening from Bali, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I thought I would talk about something very central to both healthcare and hospitality, yet I also think that it's actually quite central to most industries today. I thought I would start with this idea of emotional maturity. And today, this quotation is which one I would like to begin with. It says, "People seldom change, only their masks do. It is only our perception of them and the perception they have of themselves that actually change." And it's so true. So if we can think about any environment, whether we think of a home environment or we think of a professional setting, it only takes one person saying, "Oh boy, so and so's really like that." And when they're really like that, and the other person actually says the same thing, that, "Yeah, I've noticed that too," that starts a wave, and that wave propagates through whichever space we're in. And this understanding really helps us understand how we also shape this. So if we can say, wow, this person did this behavior, but they're really fantastic people. They don't like this behavior that they did, but you know what? I know that they're a great person. We start propagating the wave of that great person too. And oftentimes people have forgotten about themselves because they're looking to the outside, as many of us do, to see how are we. And so many people do this, that they look to see. So in a business, and again, healthcare and hospitality, I've seen this personal experience quite easily and regularly, of an employee will look at the employer or a supervisor and try to gauge how am I doing from that person. And we know that in most larger companies, there's regular check-ins about, oh, this is your performance review, so this is what was good, this is what was not good, and people kind of memorize, okay, I have to improve in this, and this is what they like to see, so I'll do that. And they might actually be able to do the actions, but sometimes they fall short. Now, how do we know what are the two key signs of emotional maturity that any of us can look at to understand the emotional intelligence in an individual, which again, tests can only go so far. It's oftentimes only by truly watching in action, because tests, again, many people have learned to memorize this is the appropriate answer for these sorts of questions, and it's not based on truth. So one of the things that I thought I would share with you today is this one telltale sign. One sign is, how do people treat those that are beneath them? Someone who can do nothing for them. So let's say someone who's not even at the company, and you see that your boss comes out of the company doors and sees a homeless person and either says something rude to them or completely neglects them, even if the person is asking. And coming from Ontario, I've seen a lot of this, and there's different reasons that people do this too. So if someone has an indifferent attitude towards a homeless person, it's different than if a person says, "I'm sorry, I can't help you today." It's at least giving some attention to someone, which that attentiveness can be felt also at the workplace too. And this is again something that someone does with someone that cannot do them any benefit. There's no gain from helping someone that we don't know. Yet, if we catch that action, such an important detail. The other aspect is, how do people talk? I will say that just listening to how people talk, and this is so important in terms of, it's very easy in a business setting to be very professional and kind and pleasant. And if we hear them speaking with perhaps a friend or a family member on the phone, and many clients will see this when work hours are done and a person is catching up with responsibilities that are outside of the professional setting, and people can hear whether someone is angry, irritable, frustrated, rude, and those things show a different mask. And I'll say that both of these aspects are a mask. Someone can put on a very professional and proper mask in one setting, and a very different mask in a different setting. And so important for us to be able to know that not only are we experiencing it if we're going through those different mask times in different settings or with different people, but others notice it too. And it's really a very telltale sign of authenticity. If a person is authentic, it doesn't matter which environment that they're in, they will be the same. They'll be the same with this person and that person, with a child or an adult, an elderly person, someone needing help, someone totally capable. And that's lovely. And certainly from a healthcare provider or a service provider of any sort, this is so wonderful to see. And today, I thought I would remind you that the best place to see this is not to look at others, to judge and say, oh, there's an emotionally immature person, or there's a very emotionally mature person. Some people, again, can wear their masks much longer. It could be when they absolutely know that they're out of any earshot of any clients that can hear or see. And that's just something that would be learned over time. And this is important for us all to understand about ourselves, because we do actually train ourselves to be just right in different situations. But what is just right? Just right might be just acceptable. So let's say when the boss is in, everyone's at their best behavior. And when the boss is out with the assistant manager or a manager, there's just a little bit of different energy, or only colleagues, coworkers around, as opposed to any authority or any perceived authority. And oftentimes energy changes in those environments, and that time is the time to reflect on ourselves too. So each employee or each boss, even if you're a boss that has come into a workplace at a time that no employees are around because you wanted to finish some work before a lot of people get there, to know how you act in your time when no one is there is really important. And are you speaking the same with your family in that time, or your friends in that time, as you would to a client? And this would be a wonderful thing to understand about ourselves. This quotation I thought was perfect for this too. It says, emotionally immature people don't step back and think about how their behavior impacts others. There's no cringe factor for them, so they seldom apologize or experience regret. So it's interesting that even in a workplace, even in a professional role that a person is playing, if someone is rude, I have certainly seen many healthcare practitioners, especially in very busy settings, be, I'll say, not kind to their patients. And in that, can we understand that? And then when we look at the person, even if a person is called on it, that, wow, that wasn't very nice, it's like, well, they deserved it. That's a very different energy. And again, an energy that takes a while to actually see, but only if we are attentively observant, I'd say mindfully aware, to these things about others and ourselves. Do we actually pay attention to, are we being the best of ourselves in each moment that we can? And if we are, then we are providing the service that is the best of us everywhere that we can. And this is the most important professional and personal detail that can help ourselves, our families, our organizations, our professional work itself, and the clients that we serve. Finally, I wanted to finish with this quotation, and it says, there can be no public or private virtue unless the foundation of action is the practice of truth. There can be no public or private virtue unless the foundation of action is the practice of truth. And this is really important because a lot of people have forgotten what truth is. Am I angry would be a question to ask, and someone would benefit from being self-reflective in this. Am I an angry personality? Am I condescending? Am I looking for validation from my external environment? All of that, all of those things need our benefit. They benefit from us looking within to understand ourselves and understand how we are serving the world around us. Today, I would love for you to reflect on these 3 different ideas and As you know, I'll be putting a few more videos of this sort together for you to reflect on ourselves and how we are affecting our personal lives and our professional lives, and how we can improve it just a little bit in 2025. I wish you a fantastic day or night ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day or night, everyone.